And we're taking a Nexus on 20. He's got pretty standard hackies. Looking for a second gas here to see if he takes it early, and also just keep the probe alive, but is going to leave before the Reaper.
Your probes. Watch your mineral line.
Oh my god. Where do you take the second pylon? Puts it at the front. Now this is important. Now, on this map, there's no Reaper jump location, and I just thought about that, and then I just realized you can no longer overcharge to kill Reapers, so why would you bother putting your second pylon in your main anyways? Have it at the front, so you can build shield batteries at a moment's notice, and since overcharge is no longer a thing, yeah, the second pylon at the front against Terran makes a lot of sense. I'm just trying to, when I see an action that I don't 100% understand, I'm going to try to work it through my head. Why does he have 4 out of 3 in gas? I don't know. He doesn't. Not anymore. Chrono boost out the Stalker. That's a Robo. Okay. And then does the Stalker just sit at the front? It looks like it will. And what's the second thing we're going to be building? Just chronoing out. He's chronoed probes on both decks after getting his tech. He already knows there's a 1 Rags expand on the way. No extra gates yet, as I say. Wow. Okay, a Twilight immediately. A Robo first, and then a Twilight immediately. Is this Blink Stalkers? Usually you get 2 gates, like, if you're going to go up towards Colossi. So, maybe just a Blink opener to get a 3rd, and Robo is just for observers? I don't... We're back in early Legacy of the Void here. Immediate observer chrono boosted.
I am here in the shadows.
2 Stalkers on the ramp to block. I guess a Hellion run by. Just kind of leaves them there, halfway in between the bases. These are little details, like, it's not just random shit he's doing to get higher APM. Okay, Blink. And a second observer. Now, does he go for... He wants to set up a 3rd super early. 46 supply 3rd with only 2 Stalkers. 2 Stalkers and taking a 3rd. This is pretty greedy. And he gets it at exactly 4 minutes on the dot. This is... Is he going to keep chrono boosting his Blink? Going into gas. As soon as he has 16, going on 16 probes at the net. We're looking at 42 probes right now. Hey, he's going to get away with this. That micro. Oh, that nade, though. He has the observer on the high ground to work with. Holy shit, he warped that in very quickly from that camera location. Zest, you're crazy. Oh, the micro. Oh, he's gonna get trapped. But he's got reinforcements coming in. He could go for the medevac here. Oh my god, the micro is insane. Picks it up. The Blink's almost done. Chrono boost the Blink. He got supply blocked here. He made a mistake. Zest made a mistake. Alright. He got supply blocked during all of this. Because he was so busy microing these Stalkers. But he's gonna get this. Loses 1 Stalker. Blink is nearly done. Does he... He's not gonna show it. Yeah, he's not gonna show it. Oh my... What a mistake. What a fucking noob. Look at what he's been doing. All this, he's rallied them all into gas. What a scrub. Because he was trying to get into the gas. Okay, let's let it be said. Pro players make mistakes. He's supply blocked. He has 8 out of 3 in gas. All right. He could have chrono boosted. He could have gotten another warp in. He could have started a forge. What a fucking scrub. All right. Is this Bronze League Heroes right now?
Warp in more pylons. Try for approximating. Research complete.
Honestly, losing another Stalker or 2 would have been worth not being supply blocked and getting those out of gas. Like, he would have done better to lose, like, 1 more Stalker and not have that happen, but even pro players can't help it. They don't micro their macro as well as they could. Get it together, Zest. You're never gonna win a tournament like that.
Your forces are taking damage. Terrible damage.
3 more gates on the way. We're adding around 550, around 78, 75 supply. 5 more gates. 60 probes. And the double forge spinning up by 6 minutes. And getting the gas. We're at 60 probes here, so. He's actually not building. He didn't build probes for this entire tech explosion. That's something to point out. He went to 60 probes, which is 16 on minerals, and then just enough to saturate gas. And then he built, without building probes, he built 5 gateways. He started his upgrades. He got all of this infrastructure. He got charge started. He hasn't built probes for like 20 seconds here because he's really focused on making sure all this stuff comes together, and he'll start building probes again, I assume, in a few seconds. No, wrong one. Yeah, he's back to building probes here.
I am here in the shadows.
And these pylons are coming up because the biggest weakness of Protoss, especially without the mothership core, is anything unexpected. Look at this vision. 1 obs, 2 obs, pylon, 2 pylons. You must construct additional pylons. Observer. He's creating a perimeter of vision. All right, there's a buffer zone. And if he can get his units in position if he has time. It's when 3 medevacs come into your base and you have nothing. That's when shit goes down.
Let our enemy know our fury. I return to serve.
It looks like he wants to expand towards the bottom right. Now we gotta see the big question next is when does he get splash damage, and does he? Is it gonna be Templar, Robobay? I have a feeling it's gonna be Templar. But that should be happening in the next minute. Show me, Zest. Show me your secrets. Just flipping around. He's not actually really doing anything with that. Just a lot of zealots here.
Upgrade complete.
Look at the supply.
Research complete.
I return to serve.
This upgrade makes
Still
your
no
unit
Templar, but
stronger.
if it's 2 base versus 3, you can kind of do this. He didn't even start 2-2. Is that intentional? He's just worried about defending this attack. Gets the Guardian Shield. Charge is done. Jumps on top. 1, 2, 3. All the tanks going down. Another blink in a second. How does he still let those stalkers? Control click. Okay. There's the 2-2. 1. Oh, oh. Well, that's unfortunate for that man.
Return to serve.
I mean, I guess if you take that good of a fight, you don't need to worry about it, right? You still got the stalkers. All those stalkers pinning down that 1 medevac is probably a bit of a mistake, but this is... Wow, he just fucking butchered him. Okay, all right. That's one way to do it. That's a brute force build right there. I'm not sure what triggered him to do that build exactly. I mean, I guess he got an observer and saw on this. I guess if his opponent's going to make tanks, he just goes for mass units, because tanks means that you don't have as much bio, you don't have things like Widow Mines, or really probably as many Liberators. So he just tries to run it over. There you go. I'm gonna do that again. We're gonna look at him on another map. I mean, unless you want me to cast it normally, but I feel like you learn a lot more from looking at what someone's looking at. Like, we're looking at what Zest sees and how he reacts immediately. It doesn't just show up in the production tab. Thank you, JessMan5696. Thank you for that sub. But we're seeing, through his eyes, what he sees and immediately how he reacts. And I think that's much better to learn from than just watching both players and looking at the production tab and all of that. We're actually seeing his camera and what he's deciding to do. And does he take another base? Does he start upgrades? Does he warp in this type of unit? Does he move to this position expecting something? Much better to learn. This is from Home Story Cup, the first major tournament on the upcoming balance changes, which are 2 days out, but we're for the tournament. Thank you, Polish Hammer. Can we do this for a Pro Zerg player? Yeah. I just want to watch some more Zest and PvT first. We'll do one for every race. How about that? Alright, so Zest going for the guess. He scouts off a gate. This has not changed much. And he's waiting. It's a gate expand. The gate expand is the bread and butter. He has another Chrono. Does he use it? No Chrono. He's not using his Chrono yet. I think because he's going to cut probes for a second after this, and he's going to go for the Nexus. Alright, sees one gas, barracks in position to make a reactor. There's no cheese here. No cheese-arino, please-arino. It's gonna be probably a Reaper expand. When does the second Chrono get used? Wow. Okay, he makes his second pylon. That pylon is to scout the Reaper. That pylon's not going to kill. Does that actually... It doesn't block the jump location. I can check on the other side. Yeah, it doesn't block it. He's 100% just trying not to get caught off guard. He's even starting at the beginning of the game. Like, you saw the pylons and the observers in the last game. This pylon is... He gets another 3-4 second warning on the Reaper. That's the difference between the Reaper getting in, scouting all the information, killing a probe and getting out, and the Reaper getting denied or killed before seeing anything. So, that's how important that is to Zest. Is that he sees that Reaper more than having a pylon at the front or another one in the mineral line. He wants to keep Jockji from getting information and also get as much as he can himself. Chrono boost immediately on the Stalker. Sees the Reaper coming in on the minimap. Denied. He doesn't have any tech to hide, but Jockji doesn't know that right now. He could be. He's going for a second Stalker as well. There's the Robo. Wow, that was a mistake. Or was it? That Reaper just naded itself past, but...
I am here in the shadows.
And the Twilight immediately. So that wasn't like a gimmick build he was doing the last time. This is how he played. This is a very standard map. He's seen a very standard build out of Jockchi. He has no other information. He's still going for the Robo in the Twilight. That wasn't like, this is something special. This is just what he does. That's just how it is. Come up. Jockchi intentionally has pulled away. He'll get the info. Zest knows now he got the info. It doesn't look like he's going to change anything. Blink starts at 3:30. No pylons at the front. Now this is something to point out. This is a little bit more subtle, but the fact that Stalker has gone uncontested for so long means there isn't some sort of unit that can do a frontal attack, like a Cyclone or a lot of bio. Or at least Zest does not think there's a unit that's going to do a frontal attack. So he makes this pylon in the main, even while he has 0 pylons at the net, because he thinks it's way more likely that there's going to be some sort of drop or some sort of harass coming into the main base, and maybe he needs to build a shield battery or warp in or something like that. So Zest choosing to build this pylon here is because his Stalker at the front has gotten the information, or at least has been given the information that there's nothing that's going to come across the map and hurt him, because those are the kind of things that would kill a Stalker at the front. No, the Stalker moving into position to deal with maybe a Widowmine drop or something. The probes are looking around. These probes on the sides, I don't think I've ever seen anyone do this to this extent. He has probes. These are looking for medevacs or liberators. These are specifically looking for counterattacks. He needs to get those Stalkers in position. He's actually sacrificed the mining time on 2 probes. It doesn't sound like a lot, but he's actively made the choice to look for them. Now, he's about to find out it's coming up the center. But these probes are not out here for fun. They're not going to build a proxy pylon, not when he has 3 gates and blink. He's actually he's trying to be that on top of wherever anything's coming from so he can take the biggest advantage. But now he sees Jockchi has semi-duped him here. Alright, it's a lot of Marauders. It's some Marines. And they're coming across the map, and he's not really in position. He was not expecting this. Now he just has to micro these Stalkers. He's not even close to blink. If you have to pull the probes, like he didn't have time to build any shield batteries, this is how you know Zest got duped here. He got bamboozled. It was a good play by Jockchi not to show the Marauders, by the way. That was a smart move. Now, how many probes did he lose? He lost 9 probes. But that was a smart play by Jockchi, and Zest definitely didn't expect it. He handled it fine, but he didn't expect it. It's not an all-in, but I like that mind hack there. Because if he had come down the ramp with Marauders, as soon as you see a Marauder early on in PvT, you know you have limited the options. Like, a Tech Lab Barracks doesn't happen early on in PvT unless you're doing a Marauder push. You see a Marauder, they have a Tech Lab, they're doing a frontal push, build some shield batteries, get Immortal, maybe some sentries. Zest didn't have that because he expected maybe like a Cyclone something or other. Now, I saw something on the minimap on the left side. Zest is already there. Alright, I was like, maybe he missed it. Of course he didn't fucking miss it. Maybe Zest missed it and I caught it. Yeah. Yeah, right.
Let our enemy
He does have blink, so we can be... If you're very active... Now, I wouldn't recommend this for most players, but for Zest, he won't lose these Stalkers, alright? The Stalkers will not die. The Stalkers can be wherever they want, and they shouldn't die, except to really dramatic circumstances, so we can just be here. He's done the same thing again. Well, he was cutting probes to get these gates. He cut probes at less... Now get this. This is perfect. He cut probes at 60 last time. He just started remaking probes. He's at 51. Guess how many probes he lost? 51 plus 9, 60. So same timing, just harder to come together here because there was some damage done, but this is the timing. He says, this is when I get my gates. Doesn't matter what, I get my gates. 6 minutes. Actually, they started more around, like, the 5:30 mark is when he got his gate explosion. That was greedy there. He got that SCV, but he's going to cost him maybe 2 stock. He's going to break their knees. That was really cute, but also...
Those forces are under attack.
Oh, Zest. He's getting a little too cute here. And he's still making Stalkers, which is very interesting. I mean, he's way off a charge. He hasn't gone for any Immortals. We're getting a couple shield batteries at the 3rd. That's where he expects a strong attack to come in. Now I expect right now is the time. This is when... Now, I'm speaking for me. And I'm trying to... I'll see what Zest does. But this is when you're very scared as a Protoss. This is a critical time. Your 1-1 is not done. Your 3rd base is not well established. You don't have that many units. And you don't have vision. I think what we'll see right now Zest do is do everything he can to get vision and make sure he's always in position before an attack comes in. Let's see. He already has those observers in place on the right side. But he doesn't... Okay.
They're attacking
Wait.
your probe.
He has a probe out there. I don't know if he was going to take a 4th or if that was just there to see. Oh, he's so scared of the main. Because he didn't see any medevacs. Okay. He didn't see any medevacs, so he's scared of the main. Comes out to meet that Marine. He got vision with those surveillance mode. Fun fact, with the balance change, observers and overseers can now go into surveillance mode, where they're static. They can't move without unphasing. It takes about a second. But they get 25% more vision. So Zest actually has more vision, and it's a little bit harder to see non-moving observers. Though in surveillance mode, they're a little bit more visible. So he's covered this side with that. Now if you see, there's 2 medevacs over here. Zest Instinct, the Star Sense. He knows it's not just going to be a direct attack. There's always something else for Terran. He might have caught a glimpse of it. He might not, but he knows that's the threat. So...
Mineral field depleted.
Even using a hallucination? Where are you going with that? He's just gonna scout around the edges. He sees the army with the Phoenix. The hallucinated Phoenix. Yeah, he's really worried. He knows he has enough. Well, he should have enough to deal with the left side attack with Force Field. So he's warping into the main because that's the big point of risk. You can't leave either side. Yeah. There's no medevac here, so we can just fight this.
That mineral field's gone. Looks like we're...
Keeps jumping back. You see, he knows the threat right now. And there's the Twilight. The Templar Archives. We get to see this progress a little further. This definitely didn't go as well for Zest early. Like, Jakchi didn't throw away an army. I don't think he made tanks this time, but...
Hope you have an expansion.
Sees the libs. Will he jump his, Oh, he knows this is a precursor to a drop. This should be a precursor if the libs are just sitting there. There you go. Oh, he missed the scan. That was a scan for observers. Zest now knows that Jakchi doesn't know he's ready. Next level mind games. That scan was to see if there were observers in place. And the observers are actually further out because he used 2 instead of 1. I want to take a moment to look at the vision. Right now, look at Zest's vision. He has observers to the right He has observers to the observer and pylon to the left. There is no attack that can come in without meeting an army or meeting vision or sometimes both. He actually has pretty much the entire map covered. It's not as hard as it sounds. I mean, it kind of is, but he has the entire... And it's about halfway across the map, so he has plenty of time to warp in and set up his units, not just panic and try to scramble units over there.
I am here in
There's
the
Storm.
shadows.
He actually pulled back the observer on the left side because he wanted to cover this potential angle. He saw the observer was here, which does not cover this one angle because he didn't have vision in the middle. So there is this one angle you can come in and come behind the observer vision. He actually pulled it back to make sure he had coverage of every potential attack point that could come by the ground or even really in the air. So that was an active decision. My observer's a little bit too far, pull it back. That's how key, and that's how much of attention he's paying to these things.
Mineral field depleted.
Let our enemy know our fury.
Alright. Oh, he sees the army. Now, he's out on the map. This is actually a bit of a mistake. He didn't know where the army was before he moved out. Let's back off. What is his average APM? 286. 286. You'll see it spike up to 500 or something during the fights. But Zest made a mistake. He got eager here. He moves out without vision. He doesn't know exactly where the army is, and he's about to get caught a little bit out of position. Yeah, he deals with this. But he doesn't know exactly where the army is before he moves out here.
Let our enemy know our fury.
And now, he has to realize in the back of his mind, these Widow Mines connected. So that means Jocktree knows that Zest is moving out with a significant portion of his army. So Zest is about to leave himself open to getting out position. As you see here, the scans come out. Zest has to scramble back, but the Liberators are already sieged and already kind of cutting off part of his army. Zest gave up vision for 1 second, but wait! The Storm Templar! Yeah, he still has an incredible army. But you saw Zest, he lost vision for 1 second, he got eager, and now Jocktree is kind of moving into his base in an awkward spot. He has Templar in the War Prism. The War Prism is hotkeyed separately. But now he has to chase into Liberators. I mean, it's still a very doable fight for him. He doesn't actually have Storm yet. That's why I didn't realize that. He moved out right before Storm. So this is actually a bit of a mistake out of Zest. He moved out without vision right before Storm finished. He still doesn't have Storm for a few more seconds. So that means Jocktree, with a lot of scary army supply, is moving in. Yeah. So this is the second he moved out without vision. This is what happens. Now, he's still handling it okay. But that was not the fight Zest was looking for at all. He lost his Templar. He lost his Templar Prism. That demonstrates Zest made a mistake. Mr. I have vision over the entire map. I'm omnipotent. Slipped for a second, and he lost his Templar. He lost a lot of his army. He can no longer really move out, and he lost map control. He was about to move out and try to do a solid push and try to take out at least a base or two. But a few seconds without vision of the army, and that's what happens. Now, he killed a lot. He killed a lot. And when you kill Medivacs and Liberators, you can push with just straight power units, like Archons and Zealots and Immortals. So he might try to do that. but he also lost his warp prism. He lost a lot of his army. So it's a risky endeavor to push in the Liberators.
This upgrade makes your unit stronger.
You can kind of tell Zest is scrambling now. He's trying to defend multiple different angles. His vision isn't as good. He's still got plenty of economy, though. So. Now, Jokji's upgrades are actually shit. I don't know if Zest knows that. That's a big deal.
You've been mined out. Hope you have an expansion.
If Zest knows that, he should know. All he has to do is hold on. 3-3 against 2, like, 1-1. He just finished +3 armor, I believe. Yeah, +3, +2. But he lost vision. He lost vision of this exact area. Jokji removed it. And now we're scrambling again.
Your base is under attack. Mineral barely depleted.
Of course, he just has the upgrades and he has the brute force, and he can clean it up.
Data lock. I am here in the shadows.
The thing is, Zest, throughout all of this, he hasn't really lost his economy. He hasn't lost his infrastructure. So while he loses a lot, he rebuilds it. And now he just wants to try to drive the point home. Pop some Templar out of the prism. I think only one has Storm. He's just decided to go. He has the power. He's up by 3 upgrades. Now, 3 upgrades is kind of like a Germany-Brazil situation right now. It doesn't matter how good you are, you're still going to get trashed in most of it. 3 upgrades you can no longer fight heads up in pretty much any matchup. 2 upgrades, like if you have a good position and great units.
Watch your mineral.
3 upgrades, especially in Protoss versus Terran, especially if they're really low on Liberators, like. So Zest has been focusing on that the entire game. He made a couple mistakes, positioning-wise, but because he was able to maintain his economy, and it was the vision the entire time. It was the vision. It was being able to see where the armies were coming in and how to deal with them. All the critical ones. When he moved out, he got caught out of position, but he had the upgrades, and he had the infrastructure, and he was eventually able to clean it up. And that translated into rolling over across the map, because Jokji couldn't get anything done. He was very invested from the very start. With the first push, with the Marauders, he hid in doing damage, and he did a little bit, but the cost was Zest having map control, getting a third base, getting an economy, and just pumping out those upgrades with Chrono Boost to be able to get a lead. The Chrono Boost is a key point of that as well. The Chrono Boost, if you keep on it with several Nexi, allows you to gain an upgrade lead, especially if you start them earlier. That's one more. He's setting his, when he does that, by the way, when he moves his camera like that, he's setting camera locations. The camera location hotkeys. I believe I have a command for that. I have a 1-minute guide on how to set them up, but that's so you can use your camera to flip. Like, I can set them right now. Control F2, Control F3, Control F4, even as an observer. They allow you to jump around between your bases. That's what Zest is doing at the very start of the game. Once again, scouting off a gate. Zest is cheesing. Okay, for those who don't know, that saw Plat versus Masters in the screen, Zest is a GSL champion and one of the top Protoss players in Korea, and Jokji has won a GSL of his own and is also a top WCS player. So for those of you who don't know that these are some of the best Korean players out there, especially Zest, well, you got an education today. Not everything we do here is Bronze League heroes.
Your probes are under attack.
Is this a proxy stargate? Is the question.
Your probes are getting owned.
Thanks, Diva. I can't get over how he plays with Diva. I assume he has Diva in Korean, but it's the same announcer pack. There's a English and a Korean Diva as well, if you use the Korean voices. That's a Stargate. About the quickest, dirtiest Oracle you can have. This is Stargate before Warp Gate. Wait, why is it Stargate before Warp Gate? Why aren't you getting Warp Gate? Zest? Educate me. Don't tell me you're gonna get a second Stargate. I don't... Why aren't you getting Warp Gate? Did you just forget? No. No, I don't get it. Why are you not getting Warp Gate, though? So you can get a second Oracle immediately? Like, does it really time out like that? Is that the only way to get a second Oracle, like, immediately? Because this is not a mistake. Alright, like, this is intentional. He really can't afford Warp Gate with this build?
Oracle perceiving.
It's the minerals that are the limiting factor? Oh my god. The minerals are somehow the limiting factor here. Okay, Zest is pretty hardcore miss-microing that Oracle, though. He'll kill one or two more SCVs, but, like... Still no Warp Gate! What is happening? There, he starts Warp Gate now. Like, I feel like he could have got that before. I feel like that's going to be kind of a sticking point when a couple dozen Marines want to walk across the map. And a Void Ray on the way. I think Zest... Now this is... He's up 2-1 in a best of 5 here. I think he just kind of wanted to be a little bit cheesy, is the situation. Does he Chrono the... He cancels the Void Ray. The Void Ray has been scouted. Immediately takes a third. Okay, so we saw that thought process there. It got scouted. I'm not even sure what he meant to accomplish with a single Void Ray anyways, but was making a Void Ray, cancels, gets a third. So, a semi-mind game, because his only units right now, it is now 11 Marines against 2 Oracles, but the map is quite large. The Oracles are still a threat out on the map. Zest is just trying to mind hack Jokji here, because if Jokji walks across with like 16 Marines and has turrets in his mineral lines, Zest will die. Like, he doesn't have Warp Gate. He has one gateway he's not producing. 2 Oracles will not save you from just even 11 Marines. They should walk across and kill him. Now, Jokji doesn't know that he can walk across and kill him, and that's what Zest is playing to right now. But he could. I just want to make that clear. Like, well, actually, wait a second. Looks like he wants to walk across and try to kill him. Zest thinks he... What? Oh, okay. It worked. The Void Ray play worked. Why? Showing the Void Ray, the SCV seeing the Void Ray made Jokji think this was a one base all-in with a Void Ray. Like, he warps in like 4 Stalkers, has a Void Ray, has the Oracles, and tries to break him. So Jokji bit on that. He bit hard. He got jebaited. And Zest has now bought himself time by making and then canceling that Void Ray to maybe get away with this. And he's delaying the factory there. But yeah, Zest has done a beautiful job of keeping Jockji in the dark here. And Blink is the choice once again. And the time has passed to just walk across with the Marines. There was a 30-45 second window where he could have maybe just moved across, but Jockji, not confident in the situation and doesn't want to use scans, means Zest will get away with going for the Blink.
That one's been in buff for years.
And if he's able to get Blink, he has all these gates, he has shield batteries on point, immediately making sentries. You want to make sentries as soon as possible if you think you can get away with it, because those sentries start at 50 energy. They want to build up all the way towards 200. They're much more effective that way. They're not fighting units. They're wizards. Okay, you're a wizard sentry. So immediately warping in sentries. All of this is space created. Okay, the oracles, the Void Ray, getting the third. Zest confident he's created space and now taking advantage of it. And he's going into the same... He's done the... He ended up at the same place in every one of these games. Adion 5. He's going 50-plus probes here. 3 bases. And he's getting 5 more gates at the 6-minute mark. A little bit later because he went for the quick oracle and all of that. But the same idea stands. He's going to go into Sentry Blink Stalker with 3 bases. And as many upgrades as he can afford. A shield battery in the main... right now, Zest realizes he can't have vision of everything, so he has to cover quite literally all his bases. The Oracle Revelations are really important to keep track of this army.
Fucking
I am here in the shadows.
And Zest has once again gotten away with this.
I am here.
Upgrades done.
58 probes.
Pylon under attack. Did you warp in a backup?
I mean, he lost the pylon, but he got vision, right?
Base is under attack. Watch your mineral line.
Oh, he's hiding. No. Watch this again. Look what he does.
Going after a pylon. A
Now,
classic tactic.
Jockji has an idea that this got scouted.
Your probes are
Watch what
under
Zest
attack.
does with his stalkers. He has Blink done. Does Jockji actually get vision here? Let me see. He doesn't risk it. Zest is holding his stalkers back because if Jockji goes one more split centimeter forward, he's going to blink and kill at least one of these medevacs before a single unit unloads. He's crouching stalkers. Alright, ready to strike, ready to pounce. But Jockji doesn't bite. He knows he's been
Your
scouted.
probes are getting owned. Stay cool.
Yeah, Jockji doesn't risk it. That might have been a game ender if he had lost both those. Alright, Zest is projecting himself now. Jock G. Now this map is a little bit harder to end the game on because how defensive you can play.
Mineral field depleted.
Alright. Coming in with the Oracle. Gotta get those tags on it. Now, seeing the Widow Mines is important. The fact that Jachi's going for Widow Mines. This could trigger immediate splash damage out of Zest. Now, I want to see, because he sees the Widow Mines. Widow Mines, we haven't seen at all. Does he go for a Robo Bay for Colossi? Does he immediately throw down a Templar Archives? Because Widow Mines and Liberators will eat through gateway units if you don't have splash damage. So I'm interested to see how he reacts to this right now. Takes another base, yes. Templar Archives right there. Right there. Slaps it right down. Knows you need splash damage. And Templar work a lot better with these really mobile, high-powered brute force armies that Zest likes to make. More than Colossi, which take a little bit of babysitting.
That field's been mined out. Hope you have an expansion. Research is done. That one's been inbound for years.
Now, that's a good question. I mean, I've already explained this, but I'm going to explain it again, because I want to expand on this point, because it's a very important point to go over every game. The reason there are random pylons out on the map for Zest is simply for vision. They're like observers that only cost minerals and don't cost any supply. It's very important as a Protoss player, because you have a very strong but brittle army. What that means is if you get caught out of position, you can lose bases, you can run into Liberators, everything goes terribly. Protoss has a very slow army, usually in comparison to like speed-boosted medevacs or anything like that. It's about having a perimeter of vision, so that way you don't get caught out of position, and you can bring the full force of your army down on the Terran, because if the Terran's able to drop you at free will, whenever they want, if they're able to counterattack, base trade, as a Protoss, you get caught in a real awkward spot because of how Protoss works. It's all about being prepared for the fight and then winning the fight because your units are better.
That mineral field's gone. Looks like we're going to the late game. Mineral field depleted.
Alright, so Zest, he has vision, like he has the tags, and continual tags on this army. There's a second Robo and a Robo Bay. That means Zest isn't confident. He's not going to try to end the game, because the map is very difficult to go up these ramps into these choke points. The Robo Bay is admitting, like, once you finally counter the Templar, I want to have another option, and that option is Colossi. You know what, I'd love if we went Disruptors, but I think it's very likely at this stage of the game to be Colossi, because Colossi require a different set of counters than Disruptors do. Templar and Disruptors both can be countered by Liberators pretty well, whereas Colossi can kind of outrange them and pick different fights. So we'll have to see. Yeah, it's going to be Colossi. I feel comfortable making that call. As Zest expands to all of the bases. Yeah, double Colossi. Extended thermal lance.
Pylon under attack. Did you warp in a backup?
As the Zealots are warped in as well. Now, the vision. The vision. This observer is deep. Alright, this observer is really far out on the map, and this can sometimes work against high-level players, because if you're Jockji, you're expecting, like, the observers over here where the oracles are, ghetto observers. You're expecting an observer, like, here, maybe an observer here, but at this stage of the game, you're rarely expecting an observer, like, inside your sensor tower range on your side of the map. So this is actually really paying off for Zest, to have an observer really deep, where Jockji just kind of doesn't deal with it, because he doesn't expect it to be there.
We embrace the glory of battle.
Mind hacks. And now Jockji knows he's been spotted. Ah, the Templar! The Templar Prism.
Your warriors have engaged the enemy.
Yeah, Jockji just spotted out. Sensor towers only see non-cloaked units. They only see visible units. So the sensor tower didn't spot it. Let's see if we can tell. Does he just scan and kill it?
We embrace the glory of battle.
Jockji knows he got spotted here. He has to figure out where. He knows. This is, I mean, obviously Jockji's an incredibly smart player. He knows that army should not have been there unless it got explicit vision of the Liberators and the Medivacs moving. So he scans the general area, he gets an idea, he spots the observer.
Our forces are under attack.
He knows you gotta get rid of that at this level. Like,
Your probes
the
are
vision
under attack.
is what keeps him from doing damage. If Zest doesn't have vision,
That field's
things
been
like this
mined out.
Liberator can
We'll
get
have
in
an expand-
and kill workers.
Here in the shadows. I'm here in the shadows.
Now Zest is in the dark. He'll probably try to bring the oracles out, maybe try to figure out where the army is. Yep, there you go. As he tags the Liberator. But if he doesn't have observers, he wants to try to use the Revelation. If he doesn't have the Revelation, yeah, he sees that Widow Mine. You can see the little indentation. But now the army's moving out the front.
Has discovered us.
My dad always researches that one. They're attacking your probes.
And a big tag on the main army, but he lost the observer. Jockji's doing a very good job of pulling them apart. Now remember, Protoss has recall. He has the Nexus recall. And right now, Zest can recall to most of his bases. Does he have the energy? He actually doesn't quite have energy for... Oh, it's 50 energy. Never mind. Not 100. I thought it was 100 for some reason. But now this is an adaptation for the new balance update. With recall being usable from the Nexi, Zest can go about halfway out on the map while Jockji is threatening a base trade and come back. This is really big for Protoss here. And Zest is recognizing where in the previous patch, going out like this would kind of force a base trade, which base trading a Terran is pretty risky. But what I expect is going to happen is Zest is going to take out a base or two, recall to a safe base, and then fight the army.
That mineral field.
Oh, actually, Jockji's going to come back and fight him. That's even better. If Jockji was a little bit further out, he might have tried to base trade, but... He takes out a base, and he can just go home. Like, he's maxed out at 200 supply. You don't need to go home if you're winning. But he caught Jockji a little out of position, and he's going to take these SCVs with him for him.
We embrace the glory of battle. Let our enemy know our fury.
And
Research complete.
we've got that attack on the bottom left as well. Looks like a Widow Mine just got cleared. Oh, that's... Look at this. Look at this zealot. I don't even know what he's doing. He's having a little, some ritual sacrifice of the Widow. Is he dying? Is he dead? That's a dead zealot, isn't it? Oh, yep. That's what they do before they die. Just spread their arms out and call it a day. With the Templar and the Prism coming forward. It's a lot of Liberators, but they all get stormed. Now, it looked dicey for a second, but then I realized the supply. Yeah. GG. Zest holding on, never really taking damage, and it all comes down to positioning and vision. Zest with the high power, like, as soon as he has space, he takes advantage of it. Takes a third. Goes for a Twilight instead of more gates. He doesn't panic. He says, well, you're probably not going to attack me. It's unlikely, and it's really not going to happen, so I can take a third. I can get a Twilight. I can get my upgrades. And those upgrades, I mean, at the end of this game, we're even, but he's seconds away from 3-3. If Jockji had a little bit more, maybe we go on, and then the upgrades kick in, but Zest was doing so well throughout all of this because he had that vision with the oracles, with the observers, with the pylons. And Jakji was never able to make a move on him. The one big move Jakji made to the north, Zest had this deep observer over here and was able to deflect it. So Zest, 3 games in a row, pretty convincingly, just kind of putting Jakji down. And that was a clinic right there for the most part. So, all right. Hopefully you enjoyed the Winter Daily going over Zest versus Jakji and why Zest is best. The winner of Home Story Cup 16. No, that's a mild meme there, but hopefully you enjoyed that style of going over the first person. I think that's a little more educational for me as well. We can go into the new ladder season. But yeah, that's kind of whole daily thing, right? Like you go over the replays and all of that. Just fucking freestyle it.